Hey guys, here we are with the amazing star and producer and director of War for the Planet of the Apes. And we just got a little teaser today that we saw of...
Oh, so you just saw it?
Yeah, Caesar in the snow. So maybe can you just tell us a little bit about bringing the apes to the snow, first of all?
Well, you know, I mean, the last story was in San Francisco in the Muir Woods, and we wanted to take the story and push it. You know, we started in the woods and we wanted to move it out into the really kind of the realm of the mythic. And we thought, wouldn't it be crazy if they went into the Sierras and it became this great grand war movie in the snow? And what it was like, okay. So that's what we did. We're kind of excited about it.
And the actors were also like, okay. So yeah, we had to make some modifications to the bodysuits in order to put them in the snow. But oftentimes when you put actors in challenging situations like that, great stuff happens.
Right. Yeah. Well, I was on the set of, I guess it was last year now, and it was a little cold though, wasn't it, Andy?
It was. It had its moments. Yeah. Yeah. No. Sure. No. I mean, it was great because it meant that you. There was no acting required. You just, you know, there were often night shoots where we were like 4 o'clock in the morning, and we had wetsuits underneath our motion capture suits. But even so, it got very, very cold. But it all helped for the, you know. I mean, I kind of think to, you know, the Revenant, and I thought, God, we could have had nice rugs to hide underneath and furs, but no, there we were in our skimpy suits, right, you know.
In post, they'll put the rugs on you, right?
Exactly.
Now, Matt, this was you didn't work on Rise of the Planet of the Apes. You came in on Dawn with someone else's script, which you worked on then yourself. This is the first time you were kind of creating the project from the get-go. So what did you want to do this time around, now that you could approach it in that way?
Can I make a small clarification on it because it's very important?
Sure.
Matt actually was the one who broke that story. So for Dawn, you know, we were going down a path, and due to differences, we needed another director, and we talked to Matt, and Matt came in knowing really what made Rise great, and through that he created a story that he and Mark worked on together. So it really is important to understand that Matt really was the inspiration behind this.
Okay, my mistake, and I should have known that.
What are you trying to say? Why are you trying to hurt me personally?
And no knock on Bombeck, who we love, but no, Matt really had a vision for what Dawn
Well, what happened was I came in and I heard the story that they were trying to do, and I was like, well, maybe that's not for me. And Dylan was like, no, wait, talk about what you would do. And I said, well, what you guys did so brilliantly in Rise was the secret of the story. It was Caesar's point of view. That was like a big sucker punch. You see a movie, you think it's going to be this human story with apes, just like all the other Planet of the Apes, and suddenly you are Caesar. And so what was really important to me and what I really wanted Dawn to be, and when I came in and they said, okay, you can do that, I was like, really? I said I wanted to continue the Caesar story, and I thought that you had this opportunity to tell a story that was the continuation. In the first film, in Rise, he really came from humble beginnings and was sort of almost a discarded animal who then was given love by a human family, and then through this series of events becomes a revolutionary, and he frees these apes from their bondage. But that's one phase of a sort of character arc. That next phase, knowing that this was the one moment where there could have been peace, Dawn was really about trying to see him being tested to be a leader in really difficult times. And that doesn't work well. It's supposed to be a moment where it could be peace between both species, but it doesn't turn out that way. And so here is this character who only wanted peace, only wanted to find a way to bridge these two populations, and they are pitted in a life and death struggle as we enter this story. And really what we were excited about doing was continuing that story, but specifically in pushing Caesar to his greatest test yet. And so, you know, in the other story, you know, in Dawn, he's forced to kill his brother. He's forced to kill Koba because of what happens, and it's devastating to him because he was the one who laid down the tenet that ape must not kill ape, and here he's done it. And so as he's in this story, he's sitting there looking back and wondering, how is it that we are in this situation? Maybe if I could have understood really what was going on inside Koba's heart, then maybe I could have averted all this and there would be no war. And of course, the journey of the story becomes that the extremes of the story push him to such a painful place that he comes to understand exactly what Koba feels. And then the story becomes really a battle for Caesar's soul. Will he lose his soul?
So Caesar has been through so much, really. Is he ultimately a tragic character, do you think, Andy?
No, I think the core of Caesar as a character is an empathetic character who is tested, you know, in extremis in this particular instance. I mean, it is we leave him carrying a phenomenal amount of guilt at murdering his own kind. But he has been brought up with humans who have loved him, and so he does understand that. And what he hasn't been able to really get to grips with is how Koba, who was brutalized, tortured as as an ape in a lab, he's never been able to connect with that part. But actually, the depths of the ape loss that he is experiencing throughout war takes him to an incredibly dark place where he begins to connect. He begins to really sympathise and empathise with what Koba's been through. So it becomes an incredibly dark journey, and it was phenomenally challenging and exciting and taxing throughout. And it's and Matt, the way that Matt has written with Mark this phenomenal kind of arc to the character in this film, it is, like you say, it's a battle for Caesar's soul, but it's also balanced out with amazing characters along the way. I mean, the Nemesis character, but also a character that you are forced to understand their reality is played by Woody Harrelson, the Colonel character. And there is a sort of connection between Caesar and he because of the extreme lives that they're forced to lead.
Well, I would just add the suspense that's created along the way, with watching Caesar, who is a hopeful character. You want him to regain his humanity, but you understand the place that he's in due to these losses. So as he goes on this journey for revenge, along the way, he's reminded of pieces that bring him back to who he is. And he is a hopeful character. We hoped desperately that he's going to regain his place.
I mean, Koba was really a tragic figure, and he couldn't sort of transcend his beginnings. But Caesar, I think, is incredibly heroic. I mean, I think you look at him and we all aspire to be Caesar.
So you've spoken a lot about Koba. Is he going to be referenced? Do you actually talk about Koba and what the events
sure.
of?
Yeah, of course. I mean, this story grows out of the last story in a very powerful way. Caesar's absolutely haunted. Okay. Yeah.
And we had heard there was sort of a sound cue at the very end of the last film when after the credits rolled, implying that Koba may or may not have survived. It sounds as though he didn't survive. Can you just speak a little bit? Maybe I'll give this one to you, but this is a producer's answer.
He fell a long way, and had we brought him back, I think the audience would have rejected that. But again, what Matt said and what Andy's been talking about, that act of breaking a tenant, which is paramount to the ape's success, ape shall not kill ape, that lives inside of Caesar, and that darkness grows in this movie. So the haunting of Koba is there. So his presence is felt in a big way, which is great, because it was a very difficult decision for us. We loved that character because he is tragic. We didn't look at him as the villain. We looked at him as a flawed character that had this one weakness. He couldn't ever forgive what happened to him. These humans, we can never be forgiven, and Caesar never understood that. So in that action in the end of that movie, it just is inside of this character throughout this entire movie till the very end. That's the suspense that's created. Yes.
Human work, right?
Oh.
Yeah.
Great.
Amazing,
Wow.
right? Yeah.
Amazing.
So can you tell me a bit about, I know there's a few new characters. Aside from Woody, there's a new ape character, for example.
Who told you that?
I heard.
It wasn't me.
What do you mean? What's going on?
It wasn't me.
Why did you tell him?
It wasn't me.
I can't believe this. What did you hear?
I just heard that there's maybe a new.
From who? You heard who? What? No, seriously, what did you hear? There are new characters, absolutely. It's an exciting. There are a few new ape characters, and we have
new human characters.
We have new human characters and new ape characters that are incredibly memorable. In addition, I mean, Woody is extraordinary, and it's a really cool character. It was fantastic getting to work with him. But we have another human character, a couple of human characters who are really memorable, and our new ape characters they're really, really cool.
The opportunity here as Caesar's kingdom has grown is to, we have Rocket and we have Maurice and we have Luca. We have the core posse, but there are other apes inside of this world that start to, factor into a big way. So along surprising way too. So along this journey, Caesar is collecting, more and more of this posse, and it enriches his challenge.
I would say the most fun part of that is that, things become so extreme that Caesar is hell-bent on on ending the war by getting back at the colonel through revenge, just going after him personally. And he goes on this journey that his posse can't let him take alone because they love him so much. And yet he's becoming like Clint Eastwood, he's a real badass. And he's moving forward, and as he does, they start picking up characters in that little caravan, and they become the most unlikely group. And as a result of that, not only is the movie incredibly sort of emotional, but it actually ends up being very funny and really touching in ways.
Great. Okay. They're wrapping me up here, but Dylan, I have to ask you real quick. Gears of War movie was just announced. Can you just tell me a bit about the plan on that? Will it be an adaptation of a specific game, or do you know yet?
Rod is an amazing talent, and there's so much narrative to that game. So that one lended itself to adaptation. So it was very easy. My partner Scott Stuber has been a Gears fanatic for so long. So we're in the early days of exploration, but this relaunch of the new game is very exciting. So we had this great meeting where we could do a lot of different things. I don't want to give away too much. No spoilers.
Okay, you're not going to tell us how it ends then.
I'm not going to tell you how it ends. I'm going to tell you come see Apes, because this thing is, we're going to move back to Apes. The thing that I'm really excited about this movie is the ambition that we took from Dawn to War, and what Matt wanted to do was realized. We took these actors out into the craziest places. You visited us on set, and we achieved something, I think, that was kind of a unique experience. So I'm really happy about where this franchise has gone.
Thanks so much, guys. I can't wait to see the movie. And for all of your Planet of the Apes needs, keep it locked to IGN.